Yeah, you're gonna argue with me, aren't you? You're just gonna pick that little fight with you. Been trying to get this to work for a little while now. See if we got this going. See the hot plate I have. I have a stovetop over that way, and camera. I can see on the laptop what's going on. I can see comments. I think I got this worked out. And then, ooh, I did not print out my recipes, but I think I still have them open. So I may have to lean over and hit the browse on the computer. So we've got most of our ingredients nearby. Oh, I should probably set these up. Just trying to see if I can get the camera set up working. We don't have access to. So, and we've got a nice big onion. I got that. All right, so see if I've got that at a right angle. All right, so let's see. Got that. My knife. It's not a great knife. It's a cheap knife, but it does what I need it to do. Can you hear me on audio? If you can hear me, that would be great. I'm a little worried the mic's right there, so it should be able to pick me up, but it's also, it's not super close, but it's closer than I want to heating. I won't do a lot of heavy heating with this. I will start heating on this and shift those things over onto the the stovetop, but just so you can see what I'm doing. Scrap bin, paper towels, backup little pot for little things. So try not to lean into the camera. Computer, and that was poor thinking, but I don't have a way to print them out right now. So we need, come on. Where's my mouse? Come on. Okay, so right now is going to be the marinara, which is, I think it's a 23 to 32 minute cook time. Simmer low for 20 minutes or until sauce reaches desired consistency. Okay, so we're gonna add some onion, a little bit of garlic. Oh, that's right, gotta get the garlic out of the fridge. Garlic. I did get one of these because I'll tell you, man, I went shopping today to get half of the ingredients I need, and I had to go to 3 different stores and still couldn't find something. So I couldn't get a whole head of garlic, so I had to improvise here. So really what we're looking to do here is we're going to do onions. So in a large skillet, we heat up some olive oil, medium heat, add onions and garlic, cook them until soft for like 5 minutes, and then tomatoes, tomato puree is what I got, just because it helps the process a little bit. Simmer uncovered on low for 20 minutes. So yeah, it's basically set to, we're looking for medium for olive oil and onion and garlic, and then add the remaining ingredients for 20 minutes. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I may not be. The tripod's not quite tall enough to get the countertop and part of what I'm doing in sight. So you're pointed more towards what I'm doing. And it's my tripod's standing on a TV tray, a dinner tray behind the overlap of the counter that sticks past the end of the kitchen. So it's a little bit of a jumble, but okay. So we've got to get the olive oil in there. So I've got this today, extra virgin olive oil, cold extraction. This is an induction heater, so I'm hoping I got the right pot for it. It'd be a real shame if it turned out to be one that doesn't heat up on it. So that's olive oil. So we're looking at about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. That'll probably do. And 1 cup of onion. So I should probably double check that my internet is still working and broadcasting. Oop, 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 we're peeling an onion. Got that smell real quick. So that's that. And then let me check my browser. We've been jumbling back and forth between this all night here. Okay, so 1 cup of onion. So okay, good. You can see what I'm doing. Not liking, which is getting a lot of lag tonight for some reason. All right. Hopefully it's not. We are on the new laptop, which should do better than usual, but let's pull that off. I can go back for that one later. Get my measuring cup out. I am getting some flicker. I'm wondering if there's a little bit of noise from the induction heater. There we go. Got that washed. So I want to get a cup of onion for this sauce. Got a little slick here. Okay. So we got some of the skin from the interior of the other slice. There you go. That's new to me. That doesn't happen very often. All right, so get that out of the way. I should be able to grip it better now. So we're going to do, we're just going for 1 cup. I probably don't even need half of this onion. All right, so let's put that. We might need a whole half. Half a whole. I don't imagine we'll need the whole onion, but talking while cutting onions, that's never a good idea. My knife is not as sharp as it ought to be. My technique is rusty. It's been a while. Okay, so we're getting. Ooh, I can't see what I'm doing. Onions. I used to cut 50 pounds of onions on a daily basis during the summer. Whew. That is not what we're doing right now. Okay. Oh, that needs to be cut. Woo! Yep, that'll do. About a half an onion on that one. A nice big Vidalia onion. Wow. Whew. It's been too long since I cut onions. I'm out of practice on that. Whew. Ooh, hey. I wonder if the induction burner is doing anything for the signal issues, if it's causing it. All right, so I'm gonna put that in my trash, and these I will save over here. I have a couple containers. All right, I'll take one on the bottom then. Whoa, whew. All right, so that's putting the onion in there, and then I'll have a look-see here. And it said 3 garlic cloves minced. So just to use 3 garlic cloves minced. I'm a garlic fan, so I don't think I can do too much. It's already pre-minced, so I'm sort of cheating. A little bit more? A little bit more. That ought to do. I may leave that out. So that's 3 cloves. So I have to mix that up. Make sure we got that going well. Yep, it's just, yeah, you flickered again. I don't know why it's kicking signal noise. Is this even on? No, it wasn't. That answers that question. All right, so first time using the induction burner. Is it affecting the sound or video at all right now that you see? I think it's kicking signal when I move and it tries to refocus. That's part of what it looks like right now. Yeah, every time I move and it tries to refocus, it does that. I don't know if that's interfering at all with your signal on that. Okay, so that's induction heater. It shouldn't heat up anything else on the surface here. That's sort of the reason behind that. So I set that to immediately over here once we get that going. All right, so yeah, I'm in and out of frame a bit, so it keeps doing a few little games for me. Okay, I'm gonna get started with looking at We got garlic cloves, onions, olive oil going. And we need some basil, oregano, the tomato puree, a little bit of tomato paste, some sugar if I want it, and half a cup of water. And they're starting to sizzle. Cool. Induction heater went pretty quickly. That's pretty cool. All right, so we got that. We want basil. That's for tomorrow. That's for tomorrow. Yeah, don't argue with me. Okay, basil. So we want. I've got dried basil, so I'm going to use less of it than the amount they recommend. So they're asking for a lot of fresh basil. This is not fresh basil, this is dried basil. So it's going to be a test it and go kind of thing. Man, it's just olive oil, onion, and garlic, but man, that already smells good. Should never do that, but I'm not going to play with this all night. I'm going to do a little bit of the basil on there. We need basil, half a teaspoon of dried oregano, just washed this pot, but it reminds me of it almost reminds me of a soup stock that we used to make. All right, so what we're going to do is basil and half teaspoon of dried oregano. Okay, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, does it? Oregano. I've already got the seal on there again. So let's give that a go. So this is Improv Kitchen. This is not a professional cooking show. So we've got that. That's oregano. So we've done the basil. We've done the oregano. And we should probably get ready to do the tomato sauce. So not the tomato sauce, not enough room in this kitchen, turns out. All right, so tomato puree. We're looking at a 28-ounce can, or two 28-ounce cans of tomato, is what they recommend. I'm going off of a couple different recipes, so it's not one specific setup. And this is a 29-ounce can. reduce it a little bit. So let's scrape this out. Because one of the things that we started with this recipe because it turns out, it doesn't so much turn out as the way I planned this already was that this one takes the longest to do. So it's going to take about 20 minutes from here on out. And as that's going, when it's finished, this sauce can be used as an ingredient to add to make my pizza sauce. So here's the herbs that I mixed together, the oregano and basil. And then more tomato puree. I might put a little more olive oil in it. I'll keep an eye on it. You don't want it to be too oily. And tomato sauce. That's honestly, it's mostly what this is. It's just pureed tomatoes, which I'm thinking when I do this in the future, like this video is sort of an intro to the sauces. When I do the cookbook I want to do for this, I will do an introductory of how to do like the tomato puree, and there's a little bit of tomato paste involved. And I may do a how to make your own tomato base like this, like these, and how to do your own tomato paste. Okay, so from here, we have the option of adding a little bit of water. I like my sauce a little thick, so I don't do a lot of water to it. But I also don't like to waste a little bit of the there's that. And so we've got the olive oil, the onion, the garlic, the basil, oregano. We could do a little salt and pepper, the tomato puree, and then it's just water and sugar if you want any sugar in there. I'm not sure. I will see how it tastes, and I will add sugar if I think it needs it. I'm thinking I'm probably going to share this with a friend. I'll be probably sharing this with a friend who's trying to watch his sugar, so I may not do an awful lot. So this is the tomato sauce, the marinara, as it were. And then, because this will take about 20 minutes simmer time, I'm going to switch this over to the stove top and let it go for that time. And while we do that, I will start the second recipe, which I'm going to do is the homemade ketchup. Already look. All right, so that's that. That's going to be fun to pick up later when it's nice and hot. Yep. So put that on there. And can it sense it? I hope that's It's the right pot for it. Okay, and then now it's all tomato sauces. It's not going to hurt it to little tomato sauce on the cutting board. They're all tomato sauces. So can it sense it? So that one goes for about 20 minutes. I should set the timer. Okay, timer. Hey. No. All right, well, it'll do what it'll do. I don't know if that timer works right. The joys of using somebody else's kitchen. So I will set a timer on my phone. 20 minutes, start. That ought to do it. So that'll let me know when it's ready. So next recipe is ketchup. And that one's, believe it or not, that's a marinara sauce that we just did. And that's pretty straightforward. The pizza sauce is taking that, adding mostly tomato paste and a few other herbs and spices to spice it up a little bit. But that's it. The ketchup is way more complicated. I was totally surprised by that. I remember thinking years ago when I was looking up some of this information, the ingredients in a ketchup. So the ketchup actually doesn't take a huge amount of time. I'm going to get some of that apple taste from the cider vinegar. Where did I put my lid? Oh, there it is. Okay, molasses. There we go. And is that a refrigerator after open? I largely don't use this except for when I make cookies. Molasses crinkle cookies. Yeah. That's not quite the one my mom makes, but I don't think you need to refrigerate that. Doesn't say to refrigerate after open, so I'm going to just pretend it doesn't. Oh, hey, geez, Louise. Ow. Turn you down, I guess. That is the most splashy I've seen the tomato sauce get. Good Lord. I'm going to have to wash this whole kitchen. Oh, God. Oh, God. I am definitely going to have to wash this whole kitchen. It's on the ceiling. That was a heck of a splatter. All right, so. All right, so that's that. Okay, so we got that. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's almost done on the stovetop anyway. I'll just turn that off then. Good Lord. Did you really have to behave that way? Marinara, what's wrong with you? All right, so mix these guys back in there. So we've got the honey, yeah, watching two pots boil. I will probably pop this on the residual heat on the burner so it can actually thin it down a little bit with heat. I don't know if you can hear me when I'm doing that. I will pop it on the burner over there so that the heat can thin it up. And then it needs the mustard powder, the onion, and the garlic powder. And then the cinnamon, clove, and allspice is just like a little pinch. It gives a little bit of just a change to the flavor profile a little bit. We've got the tomato paste, yeah, molasses, honey. Yeah, it's just garlic powder, onion powder, cinnamon, clove, allspice. You can put a little cayenne or other hot spice in there, maybe a dash of Worcestershire, something else in there. But I'm keeping it as simple as possible. I might add another half cup of water in there because I only went with half the first cup. Okay, so we're going to need garlic powder, onion powder, and then I was cheating a little bit. So what I'm doing instead of I was looking at the different spices, and I don't have a fully stocked spice cabinet here, but I was looking at the different spices and I said like, oh, an apple pie spice is pretty much the same thing. It's got a little nutmeg in it too, which I mean, it's not going to kill us, but it's not usually, you don't usually put nutmeg into a ketchup. Okay, yeah. But a apple pie spice is a cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice. So all I need on top of that is the clove, which does give it a distinctive little bite to it. So I don't want to miss that. Yep. That would be the end of the marinara cook time. Sheesh. So a little bit of that. It's really just supposed to be a pinch of that. So I think that's probably good. And a pinch of this. Come on. And we're on our way to a fully fledged ketchup of all things. Now I may tweak this recipe a little bit at another time because I like to give it a distinctive flavor. And we want a little bit of mustard. So we want how much mustard do they recommend? 1 teaspoon. That's actually a surprising amount. Yeah, trying to track down mustard in bulk turns out to be a little tricky. That was one of the things I was looking for because tomorrow's supposed to be mustard day. But I don't think mustard day is going to happen unless I can figure something out. I mean, this is the most mustard I could find in one spot, and it cost me like a $5 bill. I'm like, if I'm going to make 4 types of mustard, I'm going to go through at least 3 times as much. I don't want to spend $20 on mustard. So we're looking at 1 teaspoon. That's a quarter teaspoon. Half teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. That's a surprising quantity of mustard in our ketchup. Good enough. Considering the quantity we're making, that should do for that. So we've got the cinnamon, nutmeg, or nutmeg's not really in there, but cinnamon, clove, and allspice, and mustard. And now we got to do the onion, and I move them over here. There we go. Onion and garlic powder for ketchup. So, yeah. And so this is coming close to being the end of the second of our red sauces. I don't know how much time we've been going for. If we're looking for this is garlic powder, and my garlic powder says 1 teaspoon. All right, so 1 teaspoon it is. One teaspoon garlic powder. And then we do 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Now the onion powder apparently is much more important to the flavor of ketchup. Who would have thought, huh? All right, keep busting these seals. That's the other trick of doing brand new containers. All right, I think we've got everything open today. So, breathe in that onion mist. All right, so a nice heaping, not quite level, but close to level onion powder. All right, so that's onion powder. So now for this one, just to recap, we did 3 cans, or well, 6, 12, 18 ounces of tomato paste. We did half a cup of cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, or 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 tablespoons of molasses. We can do some salt, like a teaspoon of salt if we wanted to, and a teaspoon of mustard powder, a pinch of cinnamon, clove, and allspice, and then some water. And that's what's in ketchup, at least according to several recipes. Some of them use a slightly different approach to some of the ingredients. Some use Worcestershire sauces. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to probably put another half cup of water in here. So it'll be the 1 cup of water that the recipes usually recommend. I'm always afraid to do that because you oftentimes also want to include a thickener to help thicken it. But I think I'm going to just put this on the heat first before I make that call. See if I can get it to thin down with heat. Don't want to have a watery ketchup. So let's go put that over here. Good Lord. I can bring this over here because that was going crazy. Got a mess to clean up now. All right, so this is our marinara sauce. Still pretty hot. And I may split this in half. Actually, I might not split it in half, but I will pull some of this out to use to make the pizza sauce. All right, so I won't turn that on over here because that made a mess over here. Okay. So I got that. So that was. So the next one we're going to do is make the pizza sauce with this, which is the camera, but at the same time, see what I'm doing. Okay, so pull that off heat now. Let that warm up a little bit more. So the pizza sauce starts out with 1 6-ounce can. So the remainder in this can of tomato paste, I used 18 out of 24 ounces. So the remainder of this mixed with 15 ounces of tomato sauce, which is the marinara, and then oregano, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, some fresh garlic, some salt, pepper, maybe some sugar if I want to. Again, I think I'll probably not do too much of the added sugar, just because I have a friend who's trying to watch his sugar. So what we're looking for out of this is 15 ounces. So 15 ounces of the marinara that we made. The ketchup's still a little thick, but we'll see if that works differently in a second. So we're looking for, this is a 12-ounce can. So I'm going to use the cans as containers here. So I will use one of these. So what I'm going to do is get, oh, my slotted spoon might not be the ideal spoon for this process, but measure off 15 ounces roughly of our marinara. So that's 12 ounces with a little more besides, I'd say. And the rest of this I'm going to let cool down enough so that I can actually put it in the container that I'm storing it for. With, not for. And since this is a pasta sauce, I do have plans to serve this in a pasta. I don't know if we're going to have the time for it tonight, honestly. Okay, so that's how much marinara we made. So that's plenty to do, plenty of pasta. So wash my hands there, and all right. So hesitant to put that in a non-glass container, so let's go with the glass containers for right now. All right, so let's put that there. So let's see how much we can store. Oh, okay, we're doing all right. All right, let that settle. And then, where'd my round pot go? Every pot I own right now. No, it's here. I'm just missing it. Did I pull it out already? I must have. I have no idea what I did with my round pot, my round glass dish. No, 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 no. All right, we'll just use that. Argue with me about it all night. I just need to free up some stuff here. All right, so I think that's a fair enough pot to be using for right now. Since what we're making is a pizza sauce that uses marinara sauce, I think using the pot that the marinara sauce was in is fair game. So that's our marinara sauce. The rest of the tomato paste goes in there. Let me see if I can. Paste. Yeah, all right. So we're going to use this. And then season it and put it on some heat. Because this is a much thicker sauce, and that marinara was already a pseudo catastrophe. I will hop over and check out any comments at this point. I might be neglecting my comments a little bit here. In order to preserve my ability to see what I'm doing. Come on, where are you? There we go. I think that's everything for this one. Ooh. And oregano does make a difference. I feel like if I had it, which I don't think I do I have the fennel? That's rosemary. A little bit of fennel in there, maybe. Like a fennel seed. All right, so we've got the recap of 6 ounces tomato paste, 15 ounces of tomato sauce, 1 to 2 tablespoons of oregano, 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, half teaspoon of garlic powder, half teaspoon of onion powder, about a half tablespoon of garlic to a tablespoon of garlic, depending on how much you like. You can put some ground pepper and some salt in, and you can add some sugar if you want to. I am not going to add any sugar. I will give these each a little bit of a taste to see if I think it needs anything else. And then I will double check my ketchup. It's been sort of sitting on the heat for a bit. But the other thing this can benefit from is a little bit of Parmesan cheese. But, okay, so pull this over here so you can see what I'm doing with it. This is the ketchup. It's a very hearty looking ketchup, I'll give it that. Nice and thick. I think that's about where we want it. So I'm going to do a little taste test of the ketchup with, yeah, that looks like a ketchup to me. That works. I mean, you could thin it down a little bit more if you wanted to, but I like a nice thick ketchup. Oh, good, yeah. Power cords everywhere. A quasi-blasphemy of some potato chips in ketchup. It tastes like ketchup. You get that first hint and it suggests ketchup, but it has a much more tomatoey flavor. So I think if you did use a raisin paste, it would help change a little bit of that flavor profile. And I will say it's also a little warm. So warm ketchup is a little weird, but that's actually a pretty decent ketchup. Ketchup on potato chips is not usually how I eat it, but that works. So we've got ourselves a ketchup. Now, that's the marinara sauce. That's the pizza sauce. I did sort of partially plan for this. There was this thing I used to do with my sister when we were younger. We were big pizza fans. And instead of having to bake a whole pizza crust, we used to use pitas. So we would put a pita. It's pretty much a pre-ready to go crust with a little bit of your pizza sauce on there. And it's a quick, ready-to-go pizza. You can do it with English muffins and bagels too, but a bagel's a little more... I never cared for bagel pizzas because you got more bagel than you got sauce and cheese. And that's not what I'm there for. I'm there for the sauce and the cheese, man. That's what a pizza is. It's the sauce and the cheese. The crust is just the vehicle to carry it by. All right, so we got the sauce on. I swear they designed them specifically to be too difficult for me to open. It's like a game. I'm sure nobody else has this problem. It's just me. There. That'll get us started. There we go. So we put some mozzarella on there. And you pop it in an oven or a toaster oven if you got one. It'll hold that volume. And it'll crisp up the pita underneath of it. It'll be a thin, crispy crust. You're probably the deep dish territory, aren't you? Yeah, I like a nice thin crust. But you should be able to pop that into a oven. I did think ahead just a little bit. So we're going to bake. Okay, so that should go. And we can turn the heat off on the pizza sauce. We can put that in a container. And there's one other dish that I was going to make that's a tomato sauce. And that's going to take some of our ketchup, mix it with a little horseradish sauce, and make a cocktail sauce for some shrimp. So again, another container that has a tear here that won't tear. All right, so cocktail sauce if you want, but so come on. There you go. So I usually do a little touch of lemon. And we take our ketchup. Hopefully don't spill it on the floor. So that's our ketchup. And then a dash of horseradish. And that is a decent cocktail sauce. It's amazing to me how simple some sauces are. It's like, but they are things I'm used to eating with certain recipes. And let's see, we get a little bit of, should probably rinse that off. Although a little garlic isn't bad. Not bad. A little garlic in your cocktail sauce wouldn't hurt it. So I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of horseradish in with about 3 tablespoons of ketchup and maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon. And that's a cocktail sauce. And that looks like a cocktail sauce. Tastes like a cocktail sauce. So we got pizza sauce, we got ketchup, we got marinara, and a cocktail sauce. All to go off of some very simple basic ingredients and building off of each other essentially. So the ketchup builds into the cocktail sauce and the marinara builds into the pizza sauce. And that gets you pretty far with what you can make. I got some shrimp. I'm going to have myself some shrimp cocktail while my pizza cooks in the oven. And I think actually I should probably switch over to conversation mode on the browser since we're not looking up at the recipes anymore. Yeah, I can't believe that marinara got so bubbly over there on that stove. They don't usually go that bad. Got really aggressively ugly. All right, so some little bit of shrimp cocktail. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da. You know what's actually also really good? That's a good cocktail sauce. It's a little warmer than you usually eat it, but I was goofing around with my brother-in-law at my mom's house one time, and we found out if you take a cocktail sauce, I'm forgetting what kind of cheese it was, but cocktail sauce with cheese on crackers was really good. So I might include it in some more recipes. Shrimp cocktail. Ooh. Might have been a little aggressive with the horseradish for some people, but I like it. I also like a good wasabi, so it doesn't bother me any. It's got a nice bite to it. The lemon gives it a little sour. But the tomato, like the tomato ketchup is, I mean, it's fresh homemade ketchup. You don't get better than that. Yeah, let my pizza sauce cool down. I got to try to remember to mark each of the containers because the marinara and the pizza sauce look very similar, and the ketchup not too different from both of those. I'm snacking away while you're watching on camera. But this was kind of fun, a little hectic. I don't think I've got the pattern of it just yet figured out. That's not a correct sentence. I don't think I've got it figured out right just yet. But that's half the fun of doing these, is figuring it out as you go and improving. Oh, we've been going for an hour and a half. That's much longer than I usually do. But honestly, this was kind of fun. I kind of can't wait till I figure out how to do a proper cooking show and get an actual kitchen I can use well. But that's a little ways away. Right now, practice run is fine enough. All right, let's see if we can pull out that pizza. Looks like a pizza to me. It's not particularly crispy right now because I didn't let it sit long enough, but let it cool down a little bit. I'll have a taste test and see how the pizza sauce tastes. I don't know if either of us wants to sit around while I cook up a batch of spaghetti for the pasta sauce, though. But what I can do is taste test it with a spoon. Should be, I mean, it's just a marinara sauce. It should be fine. I I do like to add a little cayenne to my pasta sauce. Give it a little bite. Or you could even do like a smoky pepper, like a chipotle. Those actually work really well with the pasta sauce. Or the fast man's version of that would be just to sprinkle a little Tabasco in. All right. See if I got another spoon out here. No, of course not. I use all of my utensils. All right. I've got a fork. A fork for marinara sauce. So, ooh. I would give it a little more. I might give it a little more oregano and a little bit more basil. It's not bad. I think just by the forkful, and actually, I might be harming my taste buds by going directly after the cocktail sauce. Let me try that. I don't want to, not double dipping on that one. It's very tart. But you know what? That would be good with meat in it. I think that's the thing I'm sort of expecting but not finding, was like a meatiness to the sauce. So putting in like some mushrooms for a little bit of the mushroom flavor that it adds, and that needs a little bit of Parmesan cheese to it, I think. So some Parmesan and some mushrooms in there wouldn't hurt. I don't have a pizza wheel. Pizza. That, ladies and gentlemen, is in fact a pizza sauce. It reminds me a lot of some pizzas that I used to get when I was younger with a friend, and we used to sprinkle them with chili flakes and garlic powder. Actually, I have garlic powder. I like a good garlicky pizza. I don't have any chili flakes, I don't think, which is unfortunate, but one must do with what one has. That is tasty. Still not fully in the shot. Okay. Aim it upwards a little. Did that. Let's see if I can scrub off. But yeah, the ooh, yeah, extra garlic on that. works. I would put a little heat on that if we can get it. All I got is the horseradish, and that's the wrong kind of heat for this. I'll tell you what, though, that cocktail sauce is really good. I've still got some shrimp left over, so I'll be doing that. And the marinara sauce, I may make pasta and have that later in the week. The ketchup is surprisingly good. It doesn't taste quite like a commercial ketchup. It has much more of a tomatoey zing to it. Commercial ketchup always tastes so sugary to me. And I'm not usually interested in like a super sugary. Honestly, most uses that you would use a ketchup for, I could see doing the tomato sauce or the pizza sauce with as a dip. All right, so I will scoop the pizza sauce right into a storage container and start the cleanup process, because that's the other part. I don't think you want to see that, so I can probably turn the camera off before I do that all the way. But just starting up. And it's a little weird. Like, I'm used to being in my own little corner over there with the camera pointed at the wall, not inviting somebody into my home on the place I'm staying. I guess I shan't call it a home because it's not mine. But it's a little weird. Like, I felt like I was inviting company over all day long while I was getting ready. It felt weird worrying about it. That's a fair amount of pizza sauce right there. At least 2 or 3 full-size pizzas right there. Okay, the lid on this is not cooperating. Do I have the right lid for the right container? Snarky little guy, aren't you? There you go. That's pizza. This was going to be marinara, I think. So I have pizza, marinara. Ketchup can fit in this one just fine. So we'll do that. Let me set that down for a second. All right, so that's the ketchup. Ketchup is a little thick. I will say that. I would be inclined to say that if you had this in a bottle, it better be a wide neck bottle, because it might choke up a little bit. Nice hearty tomato sauce, though, or ketchup. And it's interesting to note that of all the recipes that we did tonight, the ketchup was the most complicated, but it really wasn't like a big chore to do it. It was like 5 to 10 minutes, right? I feel like it was 5 to 10 minutes. It probably ran 25 for me. But it's totally doable. And I think the only hurdle for doing this on a regular basis for myself would be I don't consume enough ketchup. We call it now at 1 hour and 45. I may pull off some of that ketchup into a separate bowl, just so I can close the container and put it away for tonight. There. That is a lot of ketchup. That is a lot of ketchup. That is a super lot of ketchup. All right. So that's ketchup. I'll put that on the top shelf. No, middle shelf. Ketchup and marinara. I think we're all set. And we're still recording as far as I can tell, so. And then it's just cleaning up. Not my favorite part of the job. Alrighty, I will see you tomorrow. Theoretically, we shall see. I will call it there for tonight.